great future. We're talking real money.
Hi, everybody. Remember Tom? We don't. We've forgotten him already. I'm Don McDonald, usually here with Tom Cock, but he deserted me. So whatever happens, he deserves it. It serves him right. So we brought in somebody to replace him. And I think this guy's doing an incredible job. We may just leave him in Africa. Joe Saul-Sehy from the one of the more popular money podcasts on the planet, Stacking Benjamins, where, okay, I found out I was wrong. I went and listened, and they don't actually just stack money. They actually talk about it.
Are you the guy that gave us really 1 star for that?
People. No, I it was another ASMR thing that I was enjoying, apparently. Yeah, do you get 1 stars?
We get 1 star for the same thing all the time, which is, as you know, Don, better than most. Our teaching method is if you're relaxed and you're having fun, you're much, much more likely to stick around and talk about money. So we get the 1 star review from time to time that we need to mess around less, which we will never do.
You know, and we get that too.
Well, the money geeks, what the money geeks want, the true, let's get rich quick people want is just, they've got this formula, I believe, which are tips per minute. If Don or Joe would give us 5 tips per minute versus 3 tips per minute, well, then that's a better show. Right. And I'm not into that at all. We've got so many people that are just afraid to open a Roth IRA, like, or they're afraid to that they're going to make a wrong move. So I want to hang out.
Do you think it's because of all those tip per minute people, possibly?
Absolutely.
That they overwhelm you? I mean, if you watch CNBC, I hope you don't, but I know you do. You have to every once in a while because we're in the business. We have to do it for you.
Financial pornography.
CNBC and Fox Business. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot to warn you before we did the show. We got a complaint from a parent driving in the car with 2 small children in the back seat. When we said financial pornography, he said his children went, "Daddy, what's financial pornography?"
Oh, no. Okay.
So now we say financial cheesecake. No, we're going to leave it in.
Oh,
I'm joking. We do. We actually say financial cheesecake.
Yeah. Well, that's good. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
got to keep
we got to be. Yeah. I mean, we didn't put the explicit on this one. So
yeah.
Anyway, we are here to try to help you deal with money. And Joe is really good at this because he's been doing it for a long time. Kind of like me, Joe is a recovered financial fibber.
Well, you were a stockbroker. I was a holistic financial planner. So,
with whom?
With American Express,
which is a commissioned.
It started off that way.
Okay. Yes.
And then by the time I left, it was fee and commissions.
Fee and commission.
Yeah. Fee
but
and
not
or. Yes.
Fee only.
Not fee only. No. But you know what?
Because we're among the snots who are fee only.
Well, no, but this is
kind of like OG. OG's fee only, right?
He is fee only. Yeah. And if I were to do it today, I'd be fee only, but I also have an issue with that argument as the top end. And we definitely don't need to get into this too much today, but when you look at this concept in teaching called efficacy is if I teach you how to do something, are you likely to do it? Right. So if I meet with a fee-only planner, fee-only planners have the lowest implementation rate of any type of planner. The advice is spot on, but people often don't do it because the financial planner isn't going to push you to get it done. And so you look at the efficacy of that versus what you used to be, a stockbroker, and you're charging these outrageous commissions. You're selling them some crap. And early in my career, it was all commissions, and it was the same thing. If I got paid, it was going to be based on this thing that American Express was selling, or IDS before that was selling. But if it's 90% right and you do it, or 100%,
then it may be better
right,
than 100. I see what you're saying.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But don't take that the wrong way, people. Go to a fee-only planner, but realize that the problem isn't the advice then. The problem is make sure you do something.
Yeah, you actually do have to do something. And but that's not the topic of today's program.
Right turn.
I love going off on tangents. I do. My whole life is tangential. It's just, shining object.
Squirrel.
Yeah. Oh, that's our dogs. Yeah. They watch the back door. They live by the back door, and then suddenly you hear the bell ringing, ding, 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 and you'll see them. And you open the door, boom! There was a squirrel.
And
don't invade my yard. Anyway, what we want to talk. One of the topics that all of us in the financial industry talk about, probably beyond ad infinitum and on to nauseum, for some of you, is retirement, because retirement is the primary goal for which we're doing all of this financial planning for most people. Would you agree?
Yes. Yeah. Well, we talked last time I was here about financial independence. Mm-hmm. And, if we use financial independence in place of retirement, it's a goal that's universal.
Yeah. Yeah, but one of the things that is critical to the retirement, the eventual leaving of the regular workforce for really the bulk of Americans, as a population, we're not good savers and investors. So we get into our dotage, our old age, and many rely on Social Security. It's one of the three legs of the stool. And you know how poorly a stool stands on one leg, particularly if the leg is about to be sawed off or could be sawed off soon. So what I would like to get just from you, because I have no idea what you're going to say. I just threw this out as a topic. But Social Security, we know, Joe, is in potential trouble. How can it must be fixed. How can it be fixed, in your opinion?
Well, I think, this person in this wonderful piece by Morningstar that we're referencing, she gives two ideas. And I think for me, it's easier for me to riff off of her ideas and tell people what those are. Number one is a slightly lower tax rate, she writes, could ease the burden for low to medium earners who pay a significant percentage of their earnings in taxes. What that one talks about, Don, is the fact that people at a low income have more of their income taxed than a high earner because there's a cap on the taxation of Social Security.
You're talking about the Social Security tax.
Yes. As you're putting
7.5%.
As you're putting money in, a person at the bottom of the income pyramid is going to pay a higher percentage of their income, even though it's a flat 7.5, it's going to represent more of their income for two reasons. The high earner also may have a lot of deductions and exemptions and credits that they take that the low income earner will not have available to them. But then second, there's also a cap on the amount of income that goes toward this Social Security tax, meaning that the lower percentages of our population on the income scale had to pay more. I don't know about the lower tax rate piece. I recently had the good fortune to talk to our friend Ed Slott again lately about
Love Ed's
this.
work. Yeah.
Yeah. And Ed was talking about, if you take a longer term view, Don, taxes are actually pretty damn low comparatively. And
compared to what they were in the 60s and 70s. Yeah. But I mean, you and I didn't make much money back then.
No, I wasn't.
You didn't make any. Yeah.
I didn't make any.
Youngster.
Pre-1968, I didn't make a dime. Actually. Yeah.
You were a slacker.
But you look at the top rate, like 92% during the World War II years. I mean, the top income tax rate was crazy. So I do like this idea though of eliminating the cap. And, I think if Social Security is going to stay around, if we agree that is Social Security going to stay around, should it stay around? Should it work the way that it works now? Then eliminating the cap or raising the cap at least makes it more of an equitable system for the entire population.
And the reality is, according to the numbers that I've seen bandied about, that eliminating the cap would keep Social Security flush with cash for at least another couple of decades. And go ahead.
Well, why is it? I mean, to your point, why is it that Mr. Make $1 million a year gets a break and the person making 25 grand doesn't get the break?
I agree. And I'm one who's like, in a month or two, I'm looking forward to my Social Security deduction ending. I'm one of those who benefits from it. And I would be willing to give that up. I think it's the simplest and most sane solution of all. And yet it seems to be still acting as some sort of a third rail when it comes to Congress.
I do like the idea just generally of, and this might not be equitable, but I remember Steve Forbes talking a lot about the flat tax, right?
Oh, I do too. Yeah. That's when I was on the radio.
It just makes the world so much easier. You are taxed on your spending, much more than taxed on your income as well. So if somebody decides to live lifestyles of rich and famous, you're going to pay more tax. If you decide not to, a consumption-based tax, also, which I know is different than a flat tax.
Let's get into the nitty-gritty of that a little bit then. This took us in a really interesting direction. Politically, though, it depends on your political position, I think, a lot, because isn't a consumption tax horribly regressive given the fact that poor people spend more?
100%. 100%. Yes, correct.
How would you ameliorate that unfairness?
I don't know, which is actually why I would have clients come into my office, and this is the type of stuff they wanted to talk about, right? They want to talk about, how do we fix this system? How do we fix what's broken? How do we, and you could hear the ridiculousness of what I just said, speaking out of both sides of my mouth. Yeah. A consumption tax kind of makes sense to me. If you spend more, than you pay more. If you're somebody,
I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm devil's advocating you.
Well, sure. And if you're somebody that does less, but on the same side, I look at make it just a flat tax on Social Security as well, getting rid of that cap. Mm-hmm. I like the ease of use of that tax, but Stephen Covey often talks about things we can control, things we can influence, and things we can't control or influence. And most people spend most of their time dealing with their money on pot 3. This is kind of pot 2. I can vote, right? I can influence it a little bit. I can vote. I can run for Congress. There's a few things I can do, but I can't really do a lot.
Oh, I love where you're going, because you can't, we as voters can't do much. Congress, the people we're electing, are going to have to figure out a way to fix it. Otherwise, it will be scythes and pitchforks in the streets.
Yeah.
Particularly from old people like me. If you don't give me that money, damn it. Although the argument that I paid into the system and I want my money back is kind of spurious, because I've done the math and I'm probably going to get a lot more back than I put in.
That's a good deal.
Unless I die soon.
That's a good thing. I mean, and what's interesting about that too, Don, is the fact that what does this really represent? This represents a pension system.
Yes.
Right. And we are bad savers, which is why I do like the fact that in that 3-legged stool you talk about, pension, savings, Social Security is a system like a pension that I don't have to manage it. I don't have to worry about how it's invested. You have this general freedom from worry. It's taken care of for me. So I have all these things. If you want to talk about a system that's broken, if we could do that same thing because I say the word pension, everybody goes, oh yeah, I love it. And I love Social Security. I mean, this is great. If we could do the same thing with the other type of pension where we put money.
Oh, you mean the corporate pensions or the private?
No.
Annuities?
We put money in, mm-hmm. and then we pull money out, and it's exactly the same. I get freedom from worry. I get rid of longevity risk. I know I can't outlive it.
You see an annuity then as sort of a replacement, an immediate annuity as a replacement for the third leg of that stool, because that leg is wobbly too. The pension leg that companies used to provide and rarely do anymore.
It totally could be. And obviously, if you're trying to build intergenerational wealth, it's horrible. But you know what? There are some people, when I was a financial planner, there were some people, Don, and you know these people too, you're never going to teach them about money. You're never going to be able to teach them just what they know to just keep a diversified portfolio of passive index funds, right? Or even the J.L. Collins approach of VTSAX, right? The Vanguard Total Stock Market Index. You're not going to teach them that. And for that person to say, hey, take all your money and put it in this thing you can't outlive, and you get a paycheck every month, and that paycheck, if you do it right, is a number that, it's going to be comfortable for the rest of your life. There is a certain percentage of Americans who go, oh, thank you. And then there's a second group of people that are worried about living for a long time and they might outlive their money.
Mm-hmm.
And for those people, having this longevity risk insurance, this annuity to cover that, also gives them freedom from worry. But that program, if you want to talk about programs that are broken, that program is way more broken than Social Security, because
the immediate annuity programs,
just annuity programs in general,
because of the sales aspect.
Absolutely. They built these sales forces and they can't dismantle their sales force. And I was at a conference a few years ago at MIT where they had real people in the room and they had representatives from the insurance company in the room. And the real people in the room.
And now, by the way, there is a distinction between real people and insurance people.
There are. It was.
They look different. They smell a little different.
Oh, what was horrible was the disconnect, though, Don.
Yeah.
There was a huge disconnect between what people want and then the insurance company people talking out of both sides of their mouth. And all they were doing was protecting their legacy sales structure. They have all these people that have made so much money on the current system. It's almost impossible for companies like Lincoln Financial to retool the entire solution.
But aren't some of them now starting to offer annuities that are commissionless?
Love it. Yes. And there needs to be far more. There was a great group that I like called Blueprint Income. And I think Gene Chatsky is on their board. And I don't even know if they're a concern anymore, but for a long time, they were kind of driving some of this stuff. But we've seen companies like Fidelity, as an example, bring out some of these zero commission annuities, low commission annuities that are fixing the problem. The big issue is the average person doesn't know they exist.
Or if they know they exist through some sales pitch that isn't as advantageous to them. Because, for example, a lot of people are sold indexed annuity products with the pitch that eventually this is going to become an income stream, but they're sold these things up front because the commission is so much better for the person selling them than it is on just a vanilla immediate annuity.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or a fixed annuity that becomes an immediate at some point.
Yeah. And I didn't mean to derail this to make it an annuity discussion.
No, that's what I said. I love the fact it is an annuity, and this is what I love about tangents. They take you into neat territory.
They do.
So you see, then let's talk about the three legs of the stool. Social Security, we can't fix. We hope it gets fixed. An immediate annuity is a tool that we have possibly. Maybe also the stool, some of these stools are two-legged. Maybe they're more like a Segway that, thanks to technology, balances themselves on just two wheels.
That sounds fun.
Because for some people, though, there really isn't and shouldn't be a need for the annuity.
Not at all.
If they invest, if they're good investors.
Yes. And good investors means not blowing yourself up when times go bad. So often I see people, and you see people, that will trade their index fund. They'll sell out of it because they think something bad's coming, or they'll double down on an area that's not really part of their strategy because they think this is a big thing. I answered a question just today saying, given AI and where AI is at now, how do you invest differently? And there's always been, as you know, Don, there's always been a storyline. And if you follow the storyline that's the current hot storyline, I think you start making mistakes. Back in the late 1990s, I got fired by a client because my portfolio with them only did in the high 40s, like something like 46, 47%. I got fired.
Oh, you slacker.
But it was 1999. And in 1999, if you didn't.
So if you weren't in AOL.
if you didn't double your money, this guy was, all his friends doubled their money. I wanted to call him 2 years later after he fired me and say, how's that, my best Dr. Phil voice, how's that working for you now? Because he got destroyed, I'm sure.
How were those 2000s for you?
Exactly.
Yeah, 2000 to 2010, a decade.
Well, that is actually the next, the storyline after that was the buildup of real estate. You can't go wrong with real estate, Don, from 2002 to 2008. Hey, real estate, it's all real estate. Well, then that storyline collapsed. And then, we had marijuana stocks as a storyline. We've had crypto as a storyline, NFTs. We get all these storylines. And I think if you get wrapped up in that versus avoiding some of those dumb mistakes, you don't need an annuity. You've got annuity. You know what your annuity is? The United States economy.
Right.
The world economy is your annuity.
We have questions. We get questions all the time at talkingrealmoney.com. You send them in, you speak them in, and I answer them on Fridays. But I'm going to throw a question, a long one. Hey, Tom throw these at me when he's here, so it's your turn.
Oh boy.
This is a long one, and I think you can handle this.
I like how it flows downhill. When Tom's here, I get him. Now
now it's going to you because Tom's the rich guy. He hates it when I say that too, by the way. When he hears this, he is just gonna well,
that's why you say it more often.
I should say it a lot more often. Anyway, so here you go. This is from Ottawa, Ontario.
Okay, there.
Canada.
Yes.
Maybe I am the first Canadian to ask a question on the podcast. Love the show. You guys are great. I have a blue chip portfolio of 14 different stocks, all with great yields. I recently took over my portfolio from my advisor, and upon looking at my numbers more closely, I believe that dividends notwithstanding, I have pretty much no unrealized gains over the past 3 years. When I started investing, I'm breaking even. Again, not including dividends. Some stocks include AT&T, Johnson & Johnson, AbbVie, a few Canadian banks. The little bias, maybe? Brookfield Renewable, I'm sure that's Canadian, and Canadian Telecoms. Given the S&P 500 is doing so well, I figured why not just sell everything I have, take a heavy loss, and haven't taken a heavy loss in and put it in the S&P ETF through Vanguard or iShares. I'm a buy and hold investor, not a day trader, but I feel I need to make this change. The heightened risk of owning 14, albeit blue chip stocks versus an index fund is not returning any reward. Thank you for your time and all you do. Cheers from Canada. Love it. Individual stocks versus an index.
Love it. Buy the index. Buy the index. I think very strongly buy the index because with these 14 stocks, you still have to do something that when I was a financial planner, I called weed your garden, which is there are times when these stocks will be not the powerhouses that they used to be. And you're going to have to make the tough decision to switch them out for a different powerhouse. The cool thing is if you buy something
so you become a trader, basically. You have to become a trader to swap out your powerhouses.
You have to. Yeah. I mean, look at it as an example, John, General Electric. General Electric, I don't even want to talk about the stock. Let's talk about the company. General Electric is still a pretty decent company, good company, blue chip company, but not what they were in the 1990s. When they were rocking it with Jack hot. Welch and, that administration running the things there. So companies.
And now their second tier people are even leaving Boeing.
Yeah, right. Yes. Yeah. Times change. And so you have to decide how and when to make those switches. One of the best things for me about passive investing is when a company does so horribly then it no longer is doing well, it will drop out of the S&P 500 and the move gets made for me. It is a self-cleaning oven. It's a self-cleaning index. I don't have to do anything and it will add companies that are hot and it will drop companies that are not. And all I've got to do is just hold the position and have the bravery to stick with the economy.
And I saw another little flaw in Jeff's portfolio that is so common. Around the world, in every market, the Canadian economy makes up a approximately 1% of global GDP. The United States makes up 60% of the global GDP, which is still not the whole world. He had, it looked like, somewhere around half of his portfolio, at least in terms of numbers, in Canadian-based firms.
Home team bias.
Yeah, had a serious home bias, which makes no sense because now that's saying you're way overweighted in one of the smaller capitalist economies in the world, which is a mistake. I would take his thought one further. He's thinking about buying something like VOO. I would say buy VT. Get the whole planet. You'll have 1% Canadian. That's all. You'll have 1% Canadian, and you'll have 3% Germany, and you'll have 4% in France.
Great idea.
And then you own the whole planet. And then, because we were talking about 2000 to 2010. What happened in 2000 to 2010 to the S&P 500?
Nothing.
Bombed.
Yes.
You would have lost about 1% per year over 10 years. But if you had a global portfolio, you would have made money.
And in this way, you still get the recent updraft of the S&P 500 and the U.S. economy. You still have some international positions, right, without having to guess your percentages. And
I mean, what has Warren Buffett said forever? You don't buy what's hot, you buy what's not. The U.S. is hot. By buying a VT, you're going to be forcing yourself to buy in, at least putting some of your money into what's not as hot.
It's a great place to start. I totally agree.
All right. Well, that brings us to the end of another exciting episode of Talking Real Money, this time with our special co-host.
I need to practice that.
Sitting in the Tom chair, Joe Saul-Sehy from Stacking Benjamins. And you got anything special coming up on your podcast called Stacking the Benjamins?
Oh, I do. You know, we were talking about not blowing up your plan and about having your own annuity. Well, you have to have the right mindset. And I'll be speaking next Monday to a gentleman named Darius Faroo, who is one of my favorite bloggers. In fact, on
Stoicism.
Yeah, combining Stoic philosophy with investing. And it's funny, I will just give you one preview, Don, because you're going to love this. There are 4 edges Darius says you can have. You can have an information edge. Well, you and I are going to have that versus these huge companies. They're going to always have, even though information is easy and it's everywhere, they're still going to be able to get it.
They're going to be fractions of seconds ahead of us at best, at worst.
Next is a quant edge, right? A quantitative edge, which the people that do great quantitative funds have all kinds of PhDs on staff. Once again, I'm not going to win that battle. Mm-mm. And then third is the size edge. If I'm a huge investor, you know, there are things and deals that I can maybe get in on that you and I can't get in on. Not going to have that edge.
You can play arbitrage, pennies on the dollar kind of thing. Yeah. Okay.
Not going to get that one. But the fourth one, the Stoic edge, is that I'm going to quit making all the dumb moves people make that blow themselves up. And if I do those things, I'm still going to beat 95% of the people out there just by avoiding all these frequently made mistakes.
Oh, I love this.
It's so incredible.
It's been my philosophy forever. People say, well, what's the best thing to do? Or what's the best thing to buy? I said, no. You're looking at this backwards. Just eliminate the worst.
It's all you got to do.
It's far easier to get rid of the crap. Once you get rid of the crap, there's really not much left.
Darius is singing off Don McDonald's song sheet.
I love Darius. I got to get that book.
What's the
name of it again?
It's wonderful. The Stoic Path to Wealth. And I talked to him on Monday, this coming Monday on Stacking Benjamins.
Cool stuff. Hey, if you want to learn more about what we've got going on, including my road trip, which I am on right now, even though I recorded this prior to my road trip, I am on the road right now. Where am I? I'm trying to think about where I'm going to be on this date. I think I'm in the middle of Virginia. Pretty sure. Oh, yeah. This is about the time I'm finishing up my Civil War tour.
Oh,
I'm
fabulous.
going battlefield visiting.
Oh, love it.
I'm parked right in the middle of like Richmond and Fredericksburg and Chancellorsville, and and my wife is going shopping. Well, I do that.
Priorities for each of you.
And then I'm on my way to Elizabethtown, PA to see my granddaughter and take her to Hershey Park.
Oh, that place is awesome.
I know.
I've never been, but we have a guy that we talk to every year just before Memorial Day.
Like chocolate.
Yeah, we talked to this guy, Robert Niles from Theme Park Insider, the week before Memorial Day, talking about stuff going on at all the different parks. And he talks about how amazing that park is.
Yeah, it's a cool park. It's not Disney World, but it's
great,
cool
great regional park, though.
It's a great regional park. So go to talkingrealmoney.com. Check out the trip. I'm meeting people all over the place. As a matter of fact, coming up on the 20th, Tom and I are having our big cookout, our Talking Real Money listener cookout in Madison, Wisconsin, of all places. I know. It's a strange process here. Thank you all for being with us. I really, truly do appreciate it. And I want to thank Joe Saul-Sehy for doing an incredible job. Is Tom, maybe Tom's not coming back. You can just stay. And he'll just hang out with me like Tom does, doing that thing that we do all the time. That is, well, talking real money.
Information and important disclosure related to performance of any specific index or fund quoted in this podcast. I think I need a nap.